Welcome back to Radio Entrepreneurs. I'm producer Nathan Gobes, filling in for Jeffrey Davis this morning. Excited to be back with one of our regular reporters, Tom McNulty of Lando and Anastasi. Welcome back, Tom.
Yeah, thank you. It's always a pleasure to be here.
Great. You always bring some really topical conversations. I understand this week you want to talk about what Amazon is doing to help fight counterfeit products. Tell me more.
Amazon. Basically, when Amazon started allowing third-party sellers kind of to sell directly on Amazon, they ran into considerable kind of negative press and pushback on the amount of counterfeit products and infringements that were taking place. So back about the end of 2017, 2018, they established a first, I guess, sort of way to try to deal with this, and it's called the Amazon Brand Registry. And the brand registry allows sellers of products on Amazon to register their brands with Amazon. And once registered, Amazon takes some proactive steps to prevent others, unauthorized users of the trademark from selling. Excuse me. The efforts they take, it's sort of a black box. It's got some, machine learning and algorithms involved. It has some actual human beings involved. And that's about as much information as they've sort of publicly shared in terms of how they do it. But it's been going on, like I say, for about 3 years now. It's relatively, simple and straightforward. You register your brand. It gives you a platform to register complaints if you observe trademark infringement. But like I say, they do some proactive things on their own.
Now, one question that comes to mind is: does a brand have to be selling on Amazon in order to sign up? I don't know if you know the answer to that. I'm not sure if there are many brands that aren't selling on Amazon these days, but I was just curious.
Yeah, I believe you have to have an account with Amazon. So effectively, you have to be selling. Whether you have to be selling the actual product that contains a particular trademark or not, I'm sort of unclear. But again, why wouldn't you?
Exactly.
But they released over the summer an analysis of how the program has been going and what kind of success it's had. And according to the program, the release, they employ about 10,000 people in terms of the human side of this program. They say they've spent about $700 million overall on getting this going. And they say that they've prevented about 6 million attempts to create false selling accounts. This one sort of struck me as almost worrisome, even though it seems like it indicates success. They say that only 6% of attempts to register an account have passed their verification process.
Wow.
So that ought to give you some idea of the number of bad actors trying to get on Amazon.
Yeah.
And I know, again, there's sort of a number of procedures they use to verify, but one of them is apparently they require you to send video and images of your physical location to prove that you are who you say you are, and that apparently is one of the ones that people balk at. They also say that they've seized more than 2 million counterfeit products as part of their, the Amazon fulfillment system. Excuse me. So, at least according to their reports, they're having a fair amount of success.
10,000 people. That's just on this program alone?
Just on this program alone, yes.
Wow. Only a company like Amazon.
I know. This had started as United States only. They're slowly starting to expand into some other countries. And they're actually expanding the program a bit now. They've added something called the Seller Transparency Program. And that's a situation where they'll actually create a unique individual code that you can print out and put on your products. And it's, separate code per individual product. And things that are going through the Amazon Fulfillment Center, they will actually run the code and confirm that it's authentic. So that's kind of another step that you can take. It's not necessarily killer expensive, but it's not free. It runs 5 cents per code. If you order more than 1 million at a time, it goes down to 3, and more than 10 million at a time, it goes down to 1 cent per code. But you also have to, print it out and hire, go through the
Right.
process of actually applying them to the products and all that. And it doesn't remove bad listings. It just prevents the shipment of bad goods.
That makes sense,
But
but
it's
I can see how for, especially for major brands, specialty brands, luxury brands, the items that are regularly counterfeited, a lot of, luxury clothing and things like that, bags, stuff like that, that love to be counterfeited and sold online.
electronics is one of the big ones.
Electronics, yes, exactly. A cent or two here or there, especially, some of those brands are the ones that are shipping, 10 million units or what have you.
Exactly,
It
yeah.
makes sense.
Yeah, to partake in that program, you do have to have signed up for the brand registry. So that's, I guess, one of the other small catches, but it's kind of a small catch. The other thing that they've instituted year and a half, 2 years ago now, that I find interesting is it's called the Amazon's Neutral Patent Evaluation Program. And this is a way to try to stop infringing products that infringe a patent as opposed to a trademark. This is not something that they had really ever had before, or it addressed really in any meaningful way before. It's a confidential process where if you have a patent and you think somebody's infringing it through an Amazon sale, you can file a report with Amazon. You identify one claim from one unexpired patent. So it's a very limited, kind of a look at this. And you provide an explanation of why you think the claim is infringed. Amazon employs outside intellectual property attorneys to kind of conduct these evaluations. Neutral third parties, people who have experience in the particular technical field that the patent is involved with. And the way it works is they'll make an initial determination whether there's something sort of real there or not. If they think it's real, they'll send you an invitation to enter into the agreement for this process. They'll send it both to you and to the accused party. You have to have both parties agree to the process. So if the seller doesn't agree to it, then the process stops. On the plus side, if the seller doesn't agree to it, the listing is immediately taken down. If the seller does agree to it, each party pays $4,000. There's a couple of rounds of briefing. The patent holder files an initial brief, the seller files a response, and the patent holder gets a reply kind of as a last statement on the matter. And then there's no hearings, there's no discovery, there's no expert witnesses, none of that. That's all there is. And then the evaluator makes a decision. And the prevailing party will get their $4,000 back. So the total cost is effectively only $4,000, and it's loser pays. And again, if the evaluator finds in favor of the patent holder, the product is, or the listing is taken down. If not, the listing stays up.
And I assume, do you know if there's any sort of process of appeals? Like you said, there's no expert witnesses or anything like that. So what happens if you are the patent holder and they don't find in your favor?
Well, on both parties have the ability to bring a case in federal court.
Okay.
And if the federal court comes out differently, you can go back to Amazon and they will treat it differently. But yeah, there's no appeal within Amazon. There's not really a description or a written opinion as to how they came to their conclusion. There's no damages that can be awarded. It's limited, but it can be very effective. It's only $4,000, which I promise you is dramatically less than litigation would be.
I'm sure.
And the other advantage is the expectation is that they'll all be done within 3 to 4 months. And at least according to the report, the average time as of the summer of 2021 was about 7 weeks, which is far quicker than a court case as well.
But I would guess I don't know if you have any numbers, but I would guess in the majority of cases where there's an infringing party, that they just don't respond and end up getting taken down rather than spend $4,000.
I suspect that is the prevailing result. I haven't seen any numbers released on it yet. It's relatively new, and they're sort of ramping it up. It had been for utility patents only. But they've got a pilot program going now to do the same thing with design patents. So that's that's a useful thing. The other sort of advantage that comes with it is if you've got a finding in your favor, or if you've filed a complaint against the same product twice, perhaps different sellers or different listings, and they haven't responded, you basically get a presumption of takedown, and you can get, as long as it's the same product, you can get it taken down from other listings without actually having to go through the process again.
That's good. That's good. All these safeguards are obviously wonderful, but I'm sure it goes without saying that it shouldn't replace, being in contact with a professional a patent attorney, copyright attorney, etc.
Yes. I will say
Tell us about that.
the one little bit of data that I have seen, and it's, frankly, it's more anecdotal than hard numbers. But like I say, Amazon makes an initial determination whether they're going to accept your patent challenge. And the data seems to suggest that you're far more likely to have it accepted if it's filed by a patent attorney than by an individual patent holder. And I don't know if that's because somebody's kind of vetted it and decided whether you really have a claim, or if it's just they know the language to use because you're effectively writing to a patent attorney. But that seems to be the case.
Yeah, I mean, if a client were to come into you or one of your coworkers at Lando and Anastasi, would you maybe say, give it a shot with Amazon first, but we're here to help you if not, or how would you maybe approach a situation like that?
I mean, obviously it depends a little bit on the client and the nature of the business and all that, but that would be something that I would certainly recommend that they have us do. You're limited to 20 total pages of briefing in your initial and your reply brief. So it's not, you're not signing up for months and years of attorney time. So it shouldn't, even on the attorney's, fee end, it shouldn't be terrible to have them involved. And it should increase your likelihood of success.
Great. Any other thoughts for business owners as they may interact with this Amazon system?
Yeah, I think the primary one would really be to, particularly in the trademark side, Amazon is doing some proactive policing if you've signed up for the brand registry, but that shouldn't obviate your sort of requirement or duty to try to police as much as you can and report as much as you can, because unfortunately, this is kind of a whack-a-mole situation where you're sort of still targeting individual defendants that pop up left and right. So it's a step in the right direction, but it's by no means a complete and perfect solution.
Of course, and I'm sure as you've spoken to us on many occasions, the best defense is proper preparation in the first place, making sure your documents are in order, your patents in order, all filed correctly, etc.
Yes, that's right.
Great. Well, we've been speaking with Tom McNulty at Lando and Anastasi. I want to thank you again for joining, Tom. If people want to reach you at Lando and Anastasi, how could they do so?
They can get me by email at tmcnulty, MCNULTY, at lalaw.com, or they can reach me by phone at 617-395-7040.
Great. And Tom is on our show monthly, so if any of you listeners enjoy this content, please be sure to like, share, subscribe to our channel. Hit that bell button so you can get notifications when further YouTube videos come out. All of it really helps our channel as well, and we appreciate it. This has been Radio Entrepreneurs. We'll be back with more after this.